Oh, that's
Loud.
surprisingly loud, considering that's coming from my monitoring headphones.
But is that going to be surprisingly loud for them?
It might be, but I did do a level check before we started. We are, in general, we're much louder than we used to be because we had someone complain that they had their phone to full volume and they couldn't hear us. So I played with some of the settings, and now the stream in general is much louder, which is why if you actually watch our level, we now peak out at like -12 or something.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay.
Do you remember what we got to last time? Because I don't.
Yes, we beat the grass gym, we went down, we went and got 2 new Pokemon.
Yeah, we had Ponyta.
We have a Ponyta and we have a Bronzong as well.
I hate that name.
Or Bronzor, sorry. It's a Bronzor that evolves into a Bronzong. But anyway.
We should... No, not Shift F1. That will save over the previous one. That would be bad. Load
save state, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna load the save state, then I'm gonna save a second one just in case. So Shift F2.
For a second I thought I'd gone all the way back to where we were at the ground. I was like, because remember we got to the cut down where you go down. I was
it
just
still
like...
says we're streaming Flower. Refresh the stream. We have been updated. We are currently set to Pokemon.
Did you click update information?
Yes, I did. It says updated.
Yeah.
So refresh the stream. If it still says Flower, we are streaming
Pokemon
on our end. And I need to select that window again.
Damn it. Yep, so if you go head back up, because if you remember we took the little bike route down, so you can take the, you don't have to get on your, and go super speed. So yeah, there's like a few trainers this way that I don't think you fought, so you go, like, either take that side panel or, I don't know if you fought some of these people, I don't know, find out. Maybe you fought that person. You fought that one.
Didn't fight him.
And so there's a drop down there. If you go back the way you came in down, you can fight like a couple of dudes out the back there. Then you should go through this cave, and we're heading towards a town with the 5th gym in it. You've only just beat the 2nd, but you hopscotch that one, right? So you can't access that gym yet. You meet the gym leader, and she's like, "You're not ready to fight me yet. Go beat the other 2 gyms first."
Fire v Rock seems weak.
Yes. Rock will beat you. So...
Beneasel.
Yes, Beneasel will be fine.
I piss on this stone.
I piss on this stone. I jet my water at you. I jet my aqua.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're fine.
That attack gives me bad flashbacks.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Critical hit, definitely dead. 110% dead. Oh yeah, we called it Spitfire, didn't we? Because that's the pony name for the pony.
Yep. For best pony.
Yes. And Havel, the Bronzor.
Yep.
He now has a Bronzor, so I go back to Ponyta, so you can melt it. Water would work okay, but fire is super effective, so fire burns.
Yes, fire burns. Thank you, Bruce Willis.
Fire burns.
Wait, that wasn't Bruce Willis. That was Milionovich, wasn't it? Fifth Element.
I have seen the film. Not for
at the end. They're like, "What do we do? What do we do?" And she's like, "Fire burns."
There's a weird speech about the rain and galaxies.
So they have to they put a lit match on the fire one, and they squeeze a rag of sweat onto the water one, and blow gently on the wind one. Oh, I'm not confused.
It'll be fine. Just set off.
Just tank confusion, Spitfire. You're a good pony.
Yay! You have good luck with confusion. Because Kitty didn't seem to get phased either. Kitty just kind of
Nothing phases Kitty.
Nothing phases Kitty. Kitty wrecks phase. It's fine. Spitfire gained 100.
I just watched a previous episode, but I just sat there going like this all the time. It's like, that's really distracting.
And now you're going to do that again.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's really distracting. You get rid of the stream preview.
Alright, so if you head up and left a second, because you can go fight those trainers down there. If you hang down that gap there, there's a couple more.
Some of these.
I think you fought some of them. You might have fought this little boy, or you might have dodged him. God, this again.
How am I supposed to catch him? He keeps running away.
Pecking him in the back. Oh, you've already fought him.
That's a weird thing to say.
Did he change direction? I haven't thought about it yet. Okay, let's be quick about this.
Sounds like she's soliciting.
Okay, behind the rocks, there's people. Oh god.
She is soliciting. Be quick, I'll raise my leg.
Battle girl Helen. A Meditite. You'll be fine to just set it on fire. Or stomp on its head, whichever you prefer.
Stomp. Is that going to block me from using attack?
Yes, it's like protect. It blocks one. It's fine. But it becomes like you have like 100% chance, then like 50%, then 25, then 12.5, then like
it did it again.
Yeah, I know it did it again. It's fine. If it keeps using it, like I said, it's 50% less each time, so it goes 150, 25, 17.
So they get squished.
It's like stop. It'll probably use detect. Oh no, it didn't.
I still don't get why my horse has a human foot.
You can't see its feet right now. Like you can't.
That's so disturbing.
It's like, it's just one. It's just its stomping foot.
With 3 hooves and 1 human foot.
Yeah, the stomping foot.
What did it say it was?
Match up. You can keep fighting. It's fine.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Those are blatantly the wrong way around to me.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, you can just stomp on it. This one doesn't know how to protect itself. It only knows how to punch back.
That's so sad. It only knows how to punch. It had a broken childhood.
It knows how to leer at you as well. See, broken childhood.
It can leer and punch. It's like an abusive husband.
Yes. You've seen him? Look at him. So ugly looking.
Dad ain't no foot, says plain as that.
Dad ain't no foot. Stomp. Karate chop. You got chopped. It hurt. Set him on fire.
I'm just gonna stamp him again.
Or keep stamping on his head.
Actually, I'm headbutting it. That's actually the face print. So it's the long shape, and then the fire on top is making the toes.
Picks up stick with like foot on end. Crunch overhead.
Havel grew to level 18. Good for Havel.
Yay! Havel is slowly gaining stats. Havel is slowly leveling. It's going to be a while before it evolves, but it's slowly leveling.
Once it gets to a decent position, I'm gonna give Kitty the XP share because Kitty needs more levels.
You can't get that item yet, but if you go down... Did you fight the hiker to the left?
Yeah. That was the last thing we did last week.
Oh, was it? Okay. Cool, we can go back into that, we can go into that cave now then.
Into the cave we go.
Where we will get a little bit of an info dump off someone that you could just read or skip through. He's the villain of the game, kind of. Oh, you'll get a new Pokemon out of there as well. Depending on if it's anything you haven't already found.
We probably should have bought some Pokeballs. It's a Geodude.
It will mostly be other cave Pokemon, to be honest. I think later on in the game you access this mountain at different levels, and you will find different stuff in them, but for now you can fight or flight or do whatever. But, yeah, I think you mostly get like Geodudes, Zubats, might find a Meditite in here, maybe
Stop
a Donzor.
polishing yourself, you weirdo.
Excuse me. He's just like...
I mean, he's literally like, he says like rock polish, he's like, oh, he's shining himself as a... So he's literally like a muscle man, like rubbing in the oil.
I can imagine though he takes his hand and grinds it against his other shoulder, and like both of them start to become smooth because it's rock on rock. It's like
rock on rock action.
Yeah, pretty much.
Spitfire hit level 23. Thank you, Spitfire.
Basil and Havel. I wonder why they're getting so little XP. That's because Havel's nicking half of it. Yeah.
You're a suspicious rock. Damn.
It might be the other. That might be that.
You're a suspicious rock.
That one's a suspicious rock.
You're a suspicious rock. You're a suspicious rock.
No, I believe that.
You're a suspicious vacant space.
I believe it's that one up on the top there. This might be the suspicious rock. So. Yeah. Basically, he's the villain of the game.
According to one theory, Mount Coronet is where the Sinnoh region began.
You are currently in the Sinnoh region.
in a newly created world. A world where only time flowed and space expanded. Look, okay.
What? I've always just skipped through this. Is he like reading a speech from something?
No, time and space are the same thing. They're not... There should have been no strife. What came of that world? Because the human spirit is weak and incomplete, strife has spread. This is like bad guy speech 101, my first like attempt.
He basically ends up being the whole like, I want to wipe the world clean and destroy it all so I can like
build it again in my image because that makes me a good guy.
Yes, pretty much. This world's being ruined by people, so I'm going to murder people.
I find the state of things to be deplorable.
Yeah, he just like kind of. Then you meet him later and he's just like, oh, I see. So that is Suspicious Rock, I think. If not, there's another one above. Check Suspicious Rock.
It's a low plane.
Okay,
No.
not that rock, that's strange. What about that rock? The one in the centre. There we go, Suspicious Rock has been thwarted. Yeah, you can either go down the stairs or you can smash through the rocks. They both lead to the same place. It's up to how much you want Splatoon to do.
Splatoon! How high did we get him with XP share? We got to like level 11 or something.
Yeah, 11 or 12. Now he can smash rocks like a real boy. Yes, he's level 12.
Good old Splatoon. We're going to get him all the way to 100. And then we can have whatever a level 2 Splatoon is called.
People have taken him to the Pokemon League and killed it with him. People have done that. Because he's so damn cute.
He's just sort of like Derpy. He's like...
His evolved form looks more derpy and less cute.
We can just hit B, keep him as a...
Can. You'll probably meet a Bibarial before...
If you hit B all the time, and stop evolving and he gets to level 100, does that mean he's stuck as that forever?
Yes. Yep. If you got Buneasel to level 100, it would not evolve. The only Pokemon that could at that point would be if it evolved...
Because it has the happiness bracket?
Yeah, but I think...
You got it really pissed off and then made it happy again.
But I think it checks happiness on level. So I'm pretty sure it checks happiness on level up. You could still do Pokemon that evolve with stones. Like Pikachu evolves when exposed to a Thunderstone into Raichu. You could do that at level 100. Other than that, Pokemon that evolve via trading would work just fine. But that's about it. Pokemon that involve leveling to level.
So wait, if we evolve Ponyta to Horsetar or whatever they become. Rapidash. And then later we found a Rapidash. Would we be able to catch it?
No, because you already own a Rapidash.
But we didn't catch Rapidash.
But you
But
have
if we found Rapidash now...
You could catch it.
That's dumb.
Yeah. It is dumb, but that's how I run my Nuzlocke. That's how I normally run the Nuzlocke. That's how it says to run it. It's like, as long as it's a new Pokemon to you, you can catch it. So if Ponyta dies before it reaches Rapidash and you found a wild Rapidash, you could catch that Rapidash.
And you could have 2 Rapidashes.
You could, yeah.
Or would you then then you'd have to hit B, so you couldn't...
I mean, I wouldn't use 2 of the same just out of principle of it being kind of boring, but it gives you a chance, like, if your Zubat gets killed really early on, you could still go find yourself a Crobat, a Golbat later kind of thing. Super Potion. Exactly 50 points, exactly to full.
Yep, that was intentional.
I meant for him to go down to flashing red health. Like, that was completely intentional.
You could tell from my shock and horror.
And it's stopped on. Counts down. Not quite yet. Splatoon. Smash. Oh, smash. And you can leave. Yeah, up there is like, yeah, like I said, that's the way you could have gone to avoid the rocks, should you not have a rock smashy thing. So there'll be a few trainers on here. Most of them are hikers, so you might actually want to have Weasel out first. It's up to you. Why? He's just like trying to keep guard, and you just like go past him, tap him on the shoulder, dodge the other way, tap him on the other shoulder. That's how I roll. Come up behind him, cover his eyes. Like, guess who? Suplexes you into the ground. It's
Stupid Geo duds.
They did tell you this. They did say he was going to have one.
Yeah, but I don't like the way you play this game. It's like, I know all the stats of what everyone's going to have. It's
he's a hiker. So far you've met hikers and all they've had is Geodudes and Machops. So, like...
Where's the fun in that?
What do you mean, where's the fun in that? You know that if you go into a certain dungeon in Final Fantasy, you'll find certain creatures there and you know what kills them.
Definitely not.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, even in the open world section, you know if you go to, like, whatever zone, surely there's an X number of wild creatures that will appear in that zone that are set to that zone.
Oh, you mean like if I go to a desert, I'll get desert creatures. If I go to a forest, I get forest creatures.
Yes.
Yeah, you get roughly that, but I don't tend to like plan my party around what's
No,
gonna show up.
I don't intend for you to do that. But what I'm saying is, like, you wouldn't run in and you wouldn't use a spell on a creature that had resistance to that type of magic. So why would you use a Pokemon that's got a downside?
I don't memorize that. Like when I play Final Fantasy games, like I had to look up why I couldn't do damage to undead creatures to find out that I needed to cast Cure on them.
Fair enough.
I don't like that rock paper scissors thing. Learning all of, unless it's like a game that requires it for like very specific reasons, like MMOs and things where you're on a team-based thing. Otherwise, it's just what I don't. Yeah, that's not fun to me.
That's fair.
Just pick the party I like and go with it.
I mean, to be fair, that does, like, Pokemon lends itself reasonably well to that anyway, because you can, are you trying to talk to him, like, on the turn? Or are you just following him now for a bit? Fucking close.
Oh, you can't stop him and say anything to him. Karate Man will pulverize you. Karate Man gon' get punched in the face.
Machop, Meditite, something. Yeah, Machop.
See, why is that fun to know? Why don't you like to be surprised?
He's a Karate Man. He had a fighting type Pokemon. It could have been Machop, Meditite. Insert another number of Mankey if it was in this game.
I suppose you've played like a bazillion hours of this game.
Yes. But then it'd be like if I said to you, like, it's not obviously the same concept, but it's like cooldown times on characters in Overwatch. I'm not very good with their cooldown times, whereas you are a bit better.
Basically all of them, yeah.
Yes. Because in a situation where you see a soldier's Helix Rocket come in, you know there's another 6 seconds, 8 seconds before another one comes in.
Yep.
So you know to plan for that. Or a Mercy's Res goes off and you're like, okay, it'll be a good, like, 30 seconds to a minute before she has another one, or...
You overestimate my ability to plan for the other team, but I get your point.
Yes.
But I view those as a very different kind of game.
Yes.
And also, the reason I know those in Overwatch is generally because I've got 80 hours on one character in Overwatch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, I've got 90 hours on one character now.
If I beat you, will you share some food with me? I'm starving.
I mean, I'll just give you some food. What the fuck, man?
It's like all I've had is Geodude all week. Trying to eat through you.
Biting your own teeth falling.
Onyx. Onyx. Bernie, no good. Like random, like just spin the analog.
Accidentally send out Splatoon. It's like no.
There's other. You get others. Rage.
Ow. That was just unnecessarily mean.
Yeah, Rage is an interesting move. It doubles in power each time you're hit when using it consecutively. So if you use his Rage builds, and if he used Rage again, it'll be double the power it is, and you hit him, and it keeps going. If he ever not uses Rage, it cancels the cycle out. So it's like not that great to me, but.
You know what I'd compare this to? This isn't Magic. It's the reason I stopped playing Magic. Is the thing I found least fun with Magic is deck building. I couldn't the reason like I played that I had like 2 or 3 decks for the multiplayer format we played, and I played those for like 3 years. To the point where everyone at the table was sick of seeing them, but I just didn't want to make new decks.
Yeah. Whereas Tim goddamn loves making decks.
Oh yeah, I mean he was doing it on the kitchen table earlier today.
He's been doing it for the last like 9 hours.
Yeah. Whereas like even when I made a new deck, I would spend like 3 hours on it tops.
You'll find a new Pokemon in this grass. You're in a new area. And she will also fight you IRL. But beating you won't take long.
You underestimate my endurance, Aroma Lady Hannah. As okay, so she'll be bug type from what you were saying.
Bug or grass or something.
Oh, I'm learning useless things.
Like, it doesn't do exactly what, like, as a Combi. But you found there was an Aroma Lady in the grass gym, but she obviously didn't have bug type Pokemon, so it's kind of a. Also, yeah, it's set on fire.
It's a bug? I know that much.
Probably another one. Like, they quite often have 2 of the same Pokemon, which is just.
I mean, it's the second form,
yes,
isn't it? So it should be more experience.
You do want to. You want to forget a move, because this is the 80 power Psychic move he's going to learn.
Extrasensory. I guess replace Confuse Ray. I know Confuse Ray is really strong, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Imprison, probably.
Yeah, Hypnosis puts to sleep. Confuse Ray confuses. Imprison removes the other moves you have. Confusion's just like a mid-power move, whereas Extrasensory is kind of busted.
So it's like 8, what did you say? It's an 80 power Psychic?
It's like an 80 power Psychic move, whereas Confusion's a 50. And Psychic is 90, and Psychic's like the best one, so...
I'm sad we didn't get to Roselia, because that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of Pearl from Steven Universe.
I mean, I think you can find Roselias later in the game. Butt pain?
Butt pain. Been sat in this chair too long.
Pillow?
No, I'm right. It is a cushioned chair, it's just...
Yeah. That's gonna do Bubkus. It's a grass type
move. It's a plant trying to suck some energy out of a fire.
Give me your warmth.
Let me snort your mane.
Let me snort your...
It's made of flames.
Yeah. The burns. Yeah, I think you can find wild Roselias later, so you still have a chance to get one. Just we didn't get a Budju in the end. You might even still have a chance to get a Budju.
Experience.
Yeah, that would have been 584? Yeah, as a total chunk. Yeah, so this grass should have something new in it, so you could probably pop to town. I think he fights you.
Which way are you going to turn?
Why not just take him to the side? Or did you have to take him from behind?
I
always
take him
surprised
from
behind.
From beside, but I you know, as soon as they turn, they might turn again quickly.
Yeah, Artist William.
Mime Junior. What the ever-loving fuck is that? It's like a clown with his head trapped in a Mr. Whippy machine.
Are you familiar with Mr. Mime?
Very vaguely. Can I just set it on fire?
Yeah, you can set it on
fire. Kill it with fire.
It's a psychic.
Kill it with fire.
So you're aware of the meme that is Mr. Mime, where it's just like the mime-ish looking Pokemon, really creepy fucker. Encore forces you to use the last move you used for 2 to 5 turns.
I mean,
it's just more if you'd have used Growl and he used Encore, he gets 2 to 5 turns where he can beat you, like, without you having to worry.
It's more like, set me on fire. Oh, bravo, Encore, set fire to me again, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so Mime Jr. evolves into Mr. Mime, which is the weird, creepy Mime Pokemon. They did that with they introduced a lot more, like in Gen 2, they introduced like 3 or 4 like baby Pokemon, which is like you could only get them by hatching an egg. Like you get Pichu, which is the first form of Pikachu, by hatching a Pikachu egg. They added it for a couple, and then they added...
I'm out.
Why?
What the fuck is that?
It's a bonsai. It's a bonsai tree. Is it bonsai? But like it's a bonsai. It evolves into Sudowoodo? Oh, it's a rock type.
That just kicked me. I guess I send out water to piss on this tree.
Well, okay, so the Pokemon it evolves into is called Sudowoodo, and it's a fake tree. It's a rock type tree, and in the like Gold and Silver, the way to move it out of the way was like you sprinkled it with water because it was a fake tree, and then it fought you. But yeah, its name is Sudowoodo because it's a fake tree. And yeah, it's rock type.
Why are you doing this to me?
You could stop at any time. You have control over this stream. You are your own man, James. You live in this house. You can kick me out. It's like...
Can I just draw attention as well to the shirt? The shirt. Fortunately on screen it says it's probably just a blob of colour, though you can make out the Bulbasaur.
I was going to say,
And the
Venusaur, Blastoise,
yeah. Blastoise, sorry.
Charizard. You can't see the Snorlax.
A massive Ghastly down here.
Yeah. Snorlax is... Yeah, it's Pokemon's.
It actually looks like a really uncomfortably thick t-shirt.
Not too bad, but I think it's like 100% like nylon, or polyester, or whatever it is. Like, you know, it's from
horrible plastic.
It's from Primark, so it's like a real cheap AF, like £3 t-shirt. That's the only reason they could get this much graphic is because it's probably mostly ink. I think this t-shirt's like probably not good. It's one of those, it's not actually that bad. Honestly, it's not that uncomfortable. But it's not the kind of top I like to wear because it is a bit, like you say, it's not very breathable. But it's fine for this.
But yeah, it's a step up from the fact that most of my t-shirts is like, this is just grey.
Yeah.
Actually look brown in this lighting, but it is just grey.
It looks very brown on the stream.
Yeah, that's because I was pitting about the white balance.
Yeah. Dead, mad, and tight. Yeah, so running around this grass will yield you Pokemons. He won't fight you, I think he gives you something. Don't worry about it.
Just a random man in a bandana giving me a random block. Oh.
We have to like look at it. Okay, so you're learning.
I'm not happy about this.
So now if you use that... Okay, don't worry. I'll get you to use it in a second. Once you've killed this Medicine. It's like, see, you're learning, James. I'm teaching you. You're like... That's right, we're taking a break. We can do something you want to do next time. It's fine.
Like, we're still undecided what we're going to do next.
Yeah, it's like, it's Bioshock or run me through a one-shot game or...
I'm still tempted to do Dream Daddy with you.
I'll do Dream Daddy.
It's a lot of fun.
I will be the Dream Daddy.
You can't be the Dream Daddy. There are 6 Dream Daddies to choose from.
But am I not a Dream Daddy? Am I not also a Dream Daddy?
I think you're the daddy choosing your Dream Daddy.
I want to be a Dream Daddy as well.
I mean, one of my favourite things is that it comes up when it comes up like the AOL, you know, that old AOL thing, like you've got mail. So it comes up with like your selection of which one to pick. It's like you've got dads.
So if you go into your bag,
I got the right button. Oh.
Yeah, go to your bag. If you go down to the honey, you've got 3 of them. You can do one of 2 things with it. You either put it on a tree and it attracts Pokemon over a couple of hours, or you can use it now and it will auto find you a fight with something that's normally a bit rarer to find or a bit stronger, normally.
Oh. Actually, we've fought a match-up before.
We've fought a match-up.
We have a match-up. Yeah, we have Wrinkly. With Chad.
It's Wrinkly because the Geodude's called Chad.
Wrinkly and Chad, the fuck off. I don't want to fight with you, Pokemon.
Oh, what route are you in? Because, like, you might have caught everything in this zone. There might not be a Pokemon for you to catch here.
Oh no.
Yeah, it just means you can move on rather than trying to find a new one. What route are you on? Start map. Town map. 208. 208.
Googling.
You can keep running around.
Googling. Oh, marriage. I found a Psyduck.
Oh, okay. I was just about to say you can find those.
What do I want to fight a Psyduck with?
It's a water type, but don't you want to catch it?
Yeah, it's like I don't really want to. If it's a water type, I don't want to leave Spitfire out there.
No. I mean, you could do.
You could.
Yeah, you could like attrition it to death with other water attacks, although it's probably just going to scratch you. You could put Havel out and just use Confusion, because like it's not going to kill it in one shot, and you can also put it to sleep, which increases your chance of catching it. So,
Fair enough. Havel's quite low level though.
Yeah, I just put it to sleep and hit it with confusion a couple of times.
Don't have sleep. Well, I'll hypnosis.
Hypnosis. You could have found... oh no.
What a gun. Meow, 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 meow. It's asleep.
Wow, you can find wild barbarial in this grass.
You said some words.
Bidoof involvement. You could find that in this
Confusion or
grass.
Confuse Ray?
Confusion will do damage, Confuse Ray will just give it the confusion status, so... it's faster asleep.
I feel like when you do damage to a Pokemon asleep, it should wake up.
Certain moves will wake it up, but do more damage in response. So there's like a specific fighting move called Wake Up Slap, which is a 60 power move, but if it hits a sleeping Pokemon, it does double damage. But otherwise it hits normally. And there's
So why risk it? Oh, it's not sleeping.
yeah, it's still asleep. Slop. You could, like, hit it with a third... it would die if you critted. Yeah. So...
why does it always use one Pokeball? It's like, well, I'm not going to use two. It says it's a really fat
10! Just like capturing parts of it. Like, oh, my arm! It's like... now you have to name Derp Duck. You don't have to name it Derp Duck, but it's basically a duck. It never remembers using its odd power and it always tilts its... it basically spends its entire life confused until it evolves. So name it what you will. It evolves into... Golduck, which is like a big blue man-sized duck. Migraine.
It looks like it has one. At least
it does.
It looks how I feel I have a migraine. Just sat there going.
It in some of the descriptions, it honestly is like has a continuous migraine. Like that's its description.
Yeah. I'm going to steal all your berries, Berry Master.
Like he'll give you one daily as well. You can just go into the house and be like, I want a berry, and he goes okay and gives you a berry.
2 raspberries. Fuck that shit.
Nana berries.
What's the wriggly thing at the other end? It's like a fight me.
It's a wiener berry. Pineapple berry. Pineapple.
I'm not okay with this. Why is it prehensile? Why is this fruit prehensile? Radio tips. After berries planted, watch the colour of the soil. If the soil is dark, it means it has plenty of moisture. Soil is lighter in colour, watered with your spray duck.
It's like a watering can, but it's in the shape of a Psyduck's head. Because Pokemon needed more creep.
Oh, child. Sure. Oh, great.
So it's an app for the watch that shows you all on the map where you've planted berries, which is actually fairly useful.
It isn't going to be because I'm not be planting berries.
No, but like, if you wanted to go into it, certain contest...
Tomato, but...
So certain... when you do the contest, you don't want any mulch. It's for planting berries. You have to pay for it as well.
Growth, damp mulch, sewage, and gooey mulch.
You if you do the contest in this game, you find accessories.
The TV is broken.
Oh, you touched the TV.
As you can see, Route 216 is besieged by a howling blizzard. My hair, even my nostrils are caked with ice. I'm grateful for having a sense to buy a new coat with my bonus. But even under these brutal conditions, there are trainers about. I think they are foolish, and yet I can't help but respect them. May I please go inside now? That's the weather brought to you by Helena.
You literally walk through as you are dressed. It won't, I don't know if it'll be the same thing again.
Here's another story on the cutting edge. It's the Pokemon Research Corner. Today we'll examine a wild Pokemon live in the field. Ah, here we go. A wild Cleffa. Oh, it's holding something. It's gonna be a gun to kill the reporter. Let's roll up and take a look. Hi there, can I take a look? Yo, ouch, it scratched my finger. But okay, we know now that a wild Cleffer have the possibility of holding an item Moonstone. Thank you, Cleffer. Here's your Moonstone back. Hey, ow, 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 it scratched me. As usual, I got a Pokemon rolled up at me. Why as usual? It's time for me to go.
This is his job. He's like the David Attenborough of Pokemon. He doesn't pokes them.
I don't think that's what David Attenborough does.
Yeah, there are certain reasons you might need lots of berries. Watch TV again if you like.
You look really angry for having a Clefairy.
This is where you can do Pokemon contests. Don't worry about Pokemon contests. Most desirable place to live in town. If you don't have a town map, there's a town map.
How could you not have a town map? It made us go back and get it! Actually, that was running shoes, wasn't it? I mean, it
just ran into you.
There's this whole wide path and it ran into me. I don't...
Baby Bun Hero, go back into your Pokeball. I'm a Pokemon contest judge and I can't raise Pokemon properly. I mean, sorry, thank you properly. So you're now in Hearthome City. I don't believe it lets you go down here. No, you can't go down here just yet. There's some douchebag blocking the way.
Maybe the douchebag we were just watching on TV.
Probably.
Why?
Yeah, so if you... There's a Pokemon Center in this town somewhere. But if you make your way all the way to the top...
Well, you just stood in the middle of a crossroads, you freak. No.
He'll walk you somewhere.
That's a Pokemon in a...
That's a baby.
Okay.
She notices how hard it is to push a pram around on this dead flat.
No, this is not what I thought it was.
So this is the gym. Obviously, the gym leader's like... Come back another time. Leaves. Comes back in. Where is she? It's like... The answer is, there is the gym leader.
Oh, is it? Let's speak to her.
She's not going to fight you, don't worry. She's too
She
good.
has a butterfly on her head. Oh, she talks about herself in the third person.
Yeah. So there's the Pokemon Center.
And there's a hiker with a Pachirisu next to it.
See, you know what Pachirisu looks like as well. You're remembering Pokemon now.
Useless knowledge.
Yeah, welcome to my world, James. It's like, and what isotopes did you look at work, James? And you're like, Pachirisu! Kitty!
Isotopes? Jesus, that's a different department to me.
Well, no, but you think of chemical word. Like,
I'm a mass spec specialist, so for me it's all charge mass ratios and elution times for the columns.
you don't have any cute Pokemon with you, unfortunately.
I have Kitty, who is beautiful.
You can actually take Pachirisu. Basically, you can wander around and potentially find contest-based items by running around with your Pokemon, but it has to be a cute Pokemon. You need to go into the contest hall to just forward the story and get those douchebags out of the way. Oh, my hero. Also, your mother. Oh, hi, Steve. How did she fucking get here, James? How did she get here?
By train, Dan.
By train?
She rode her on the back of that giant rhinoceros thing that was in the garden.
Wrong game? There's a Rhydon in the garden of X and Y. Your mother's a famous Rhydon racer.
I don't know.
In X and Y. In this game, she's just a person. Although she's a contest star.
I It all blends together.
I've never spoken to Steve about contests. I've actually never played a female in this that's gone into contests because, like, she gives you a.
Oh, but I wants me to be a stripper.
If you're a male character, she gives you a tuxedo. I'm pretty sure she uses like a frilly pink dress to wear if you go to do the contest.
Wow, that's sexist.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to wear a tuxedo.
Maybe you do, Steve. Maybe.
I mean, I'm obviously a girl called Steve. We don't know. Maybe I identify differently.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's why I'm wearing that stupid bloody Ku Klux Klan hat. That really does bug me, that white hat. I really wish we could change that.
Yeah. A dress. You now have a dress. You are now a girl. A girl.
Excuse me.
No, it won't. Bye.
Do I just go into my inventory and put that on?
No, it's something that you wear during a contest. That's it. So it's because when you go into the contest, you like put loads of accessories on your Pokemon. You also like dress up in a. This would be if like I had a DS and you had a DS. We could both go do contests together, James. Together.
It's not far down now, that window.
You could just leave the contest hall. Unless you actually want to do a contest.
I just want to progress with the story.
Yes, you can leave now. You just had to talk to your mother. It's just like, and then you can go.
That's like real life. You can't do anything to talk to your mum. Oh.
Yeah, so you just healed up, didn't you? So if you go back down to the very bottom at the main road.
You look familiar.
You look familiar. They all looked familiar. If you go down. Oh, this chungus.
Fucking Cloud.
I'm pretty sure.
Kept me waiting again, Steve.
I'm pretty sure he fights you here.
Let's see how much tougher you are than I have gotten. Right here, right now, in the middle of the street. Hey, you're a trainer now. You're expected to be hard, ready for battle. No whining, no waiting. Let's
Unlike
get this
other
show
ones where
started.
you can dodge them, he actively hunts you down. He's like a heat-seeking trainer. Look how fucking stupid he looks. He's still got a Starly.
Yeah!
But do you know what the best thing is? Look, he's got a level 19 Starly. What level did yours evolve? Like 16? Why do you keep mashing B, Cloud?
Is fire good against
Fire's
fire?
normal against flying, flying's normal against you, so this will be a you in this fight just because you're higher level.
It's attack road. Oh, evasiveness.
Evasiveness. Just set it on fire.
Okay.
Yeah, double team raises evasiveness by 10%, so basically lowers your accuracy by 10% per use to I think 70%.
That's not how maths works.
Well, you know what I mean.
If it raises evasiveness by 10%, then how that affects my accuracy will be dependent on what my value for my accuracy is.
It'll be whatever move it's using. So Ember is 100%. Ember will hit unless there are any modifiers changing.
So what's its base evasiveness?
0.
So if its evasiveness goes up by 10%, it won't reduce my accuracy by 10%.
It will reduce the overall chance of hitting to 90%.
Why not?
Well, he becomes 10%.
No, its base evasiveness will be more than 0 because there's always a chance you're going to miss.
No, not with a move that's got 100%. That's why the moves have an accuracy rating. If your move's got 100 accuracy, it will always hit. But obviously, the stronger the move, generally the less accurate it gets.
What a weird owl thing.
It's a water type.
Well, shit.
Yeah. It's fine. It used the only move it has that's not very effective against you, because it apparently has steel type moves. Yeah, electrocute the Pokemon. This is where it's like, oh wait, I have a water bubble beam, and you're just like, oh, I have an electric cat now. They have bubble.
Then where did that come out of?
My peanut. It's like a bubble hose.
It's just like Kitty is not impressed. Being pissed on by a penguin owl.
Pengu got hench. Spiky, spiky, boop, boop. Spit the fire, get to 24. Havel got to 20. Havel's slowly getting there as well. Fire will work.
No. It wasn't where it normally is. It really annoys me the way it does that.
You think it should just revert them back to wherever they were before, rather than exchanging
you
their
should
places?
have a list, and then you take one out of the list. Not, it swaps the places around.
Yeah. So you send out whoever's first, and you replace... That person goes back into what would be first, and you take out third. And then you put third back into third, and take out second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than it switching them. Yeah. Halves your speed, and like a 30% chance not to act, I think, and halves your speed. You were seeded.
What is with all they're all dude Pokemons doing nasty things to my lady Pokemon?
This is at heart a Japanese game, James.
No.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't have a tentacle.
I don't think you could be seeded by a tentacle.
Oh. I'm sure someone somewhere has drawn that. What did they? Oh, never mind.
Hold on. Just
no. You are not putting that in my search history.
Search history? I was going to make it one of your Pokemon.
Jesus, no.
I mean, you could just stomp it out here. You could go to Bunnies. It's up to you. You're at half speed, so it's going to go first. But Bunnies will all water it. It's up to you. Excuse me. Long day at work. Tired. It's hard being good at your job. It's hard being the best. Like, no.
It's lonely at the top, Dan.
Yeah, it is. No, it's harder when like everyone at work turns to you and it's like, like when you're the most qualified person in the room, it becomes a pain. Just three other people looking at you going, "Can I have help with this?" And you're like, "No."
I do, and I don't have that problem. It's like I have that problem where it's something kind of menial, where it's like we need to refit the gas lines to one of the instruments. Who knows how to? James.
I know how. How much are you paying me?
I actually quite enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
Like running around on top of benches with spanners and things. Makes people laugh at you because the only way to get to the back of the instruments is to stand on the lab bench. So people come to the lab, there's like someone stood with like straddling a gas chromatograph, being like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Surely health and safety must find a better way of doing that.
You know, they have never been in the lab when we've done it.
Yeah, because I imagine standing on a lab bench with a piece of equipment worth probably thousands of pounds.
Yeah, standard GC, about 6 or 7 grand normally.
Yeah, and you're straddling it
3
on a
4
lab
these days.
bench. One day I'll beat you.
Do the mass specs, and they're like 20, 30 grand minimum.
So, Ponyta now needs... Well, I mean, you could like go heal everything, I guess. You wasted PP on that Chungus.
They have a plan at the moment. They're going to move our lab. Well, some of our equipment's going upstairs, so we're going to move GCMS headspaces, which are like... We bought 2 recently on special offer, buying the 2 together. We got a discount, that was like 95 grand. And we're going to move them upstairs. The lift's broken.
They're not going to make you carry them upstairs.
Maybe.
Would it not be like cheaper and safer, or not cheaper, safer to go get like a window winch and like,
I think they're planning to fix the lift because Jesus Christ. I mean, a GC is a heavy thing.
So I assume you'd put it on a trolley.
Yeah,
like, lift onto trolley, trolley into lift.
Because you'd have to disassemble it. So you'd have to like take the headspace off, take that upstairs, take the GC, take that upstairs, then come back for the MS and take that upstairs.
Yeah, but you'd put them all on trolleys and then.
Yeah. We have 10 instruments that need moving.
Oh, you just are you renting? Have you got a bigger building now, or are you just renting?
Oh no, they've converted
building?
part of the office space upstairs into another lab. The idea being that if you put the headspace MSs in there, then you won't get interference from other things in the lab.
Fair enough. Yes, I don't know if you'll be able to go down here just yet. You might be able to now. If not, you can go that way, and yeah, that's another way. But you can go that way now.
Since I just realised, I get to the point now I was like, just let me squeeze through.
Hey, look, your microphone! He will give you a Pokemon egg if you have space in your inventory for it, and then after a certain amount of steps, it will hatch. It's up to you whether you want to go dump a Pokemon and go pick up an egg and run around with it. Well, it's a Happiny. It evolves into Chansey, the thing that, like, heals your Pokemon. And then evolves into Blissey, who is a horrendous piece of crap. Bless you.
Thank you.
And now we have a new route. They will fight you.
It's like the visual, it's just funny, I was like...
I'm just like... whoosh, 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 whoosh. Let's see how much you've raised your Pokemon. You know, I really, really, really want you to find a Mime Junior now, right? Like, I really
oh no, I've killed it!
I really want you to... Or the Bonsley, I really want to find... It's like... He has one too! So yeah, water is your best option. I mean, you could hit it with psychic attacks, that would be normal. Spark would be normal, Bite would be normal, most of your moves would be normal.
Isn't Flail the thing that you... Struggle, I was thinking.
Yeah. Flail...
Oh shit.
That will not do much.
Yeah, I accidentally double hit A.
Yeah. Flail does more damage based on the percentage of health you've lost. Its damage output goes up.
Well,
it replaces Copycat with Swift for the remainder of the fight. Which can be reasonably useful, but if you're slower, obviously, like Copycat will go last, but you have to hope they're using a good move. And you hope that good move doesn't kill you. It's like, Earthquake! Yeah, I get to Copycat, I'm dead. I don't get to Copycat Earthquake. Oh well. Pichu. It's electric type. So anything that's not... So Spitfire will do, Kitty will do, Last Resort will do, Havel will do.
We haven't seen Last Resort this week.
Yeah. Let's put out Last Resort. It is our last resort though, so... Oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Just because Last Resort's only attacking you, is it just Gust, or does he... You have Poison Sting as well, that's going to take ages. And Gust will be not very effective. It's now paralysed. Congrats.
Every little helps.
Yeah. Paralysed and cannot move. After all that, then switch to... It's like...
And we'll get a ton of experience.
It's like breathing in these spores and you're just like, bye now!
Pichu now has hay fever.
Pichu's now fucked for the rest of his life. Attack harshly fell, don't care, extrasensory.
Wow. Jesus Christ!
Hey Pikachu! Just melt its face. It's lowering your attack stat again. It's fine, you're just gonna melt its face.
The last attack did like nearly killed it.
Well, that's the thing, it's lowering your attack, you're using your special attack for these. They're the noises Pichu makes as it's dying. Pichu fainted. Fainted. Budge you. May as well leave Havel out. Havel will just murder it anyway.
Oh, I'm so happy. Everything is fine.
I don't have arms. Please don't knock me over.
It's like I am happy and calm, and nothing is wrong in my life. Look at my little derpy face. What are you going to do to me now?
I will turn. I will turn into a beautiful rose.
I don't know what happened.
Super effective. Growth. I'm gonna get stronger. I swear. And dead. Oh.
At some point I'll get round to getting an isolation mount for the microphone, and then you can lean on the desk, but until then, sadly not.
God damn it! Kronk. I assume eventually you'll get a nicer mic.
It's on my plan. Like, I actually have an audio interface for the microphone on back order on Amazon, but they don't have any in stock. It's like, do you want to back order this at like $30, or you can buy one now from one of our sub stores for $65? back order.
Cool, join the queue of 200 other people. Okay.
But like once I've got that, I'll probably pick up a microphone to plug into it because it's a XLR interface.
Yes, the grass here, or you could wait for a different piece of grass later, but I think it's all about the same in this zone, so...
Let's investigate this conspicuous piece of blankness over here.
I think there's actually an item in the corner, yeah.
Shh.
That's what I think.
I guess we should use some honey, it's quite... It'll get me a better thing.
It'll get you something that's not often appearing, yeah, you have to be in the grass, but you can use honey. It's like auto fight of something that's a bit better.
I just do the idea of this Pokemon trying to slathering himself in honey being like, come at me. A Pidgey.
Starly.
Same
But
thing.
you've already had one, so that's fine.
It's like wasted honey on a damn Pidgey. Starly.
It may as well be Pidgey. It may as well be Pidgey.
It's level 16 and still has Starly.
Yeah. Spitfire's attack fell. Well, burn in hell. Yay. 64 God. Just take it off Havel or use Havel. Like such a like small split.
It works though.
Yeah, I suppose it has slowly been leveling Havel as well.
It's how we got Spitfire up.
Yeah. When we were doing it with Spitfire, we were actually like fighting trainers Pokemon, I think, whereas this is
Rare Starly, you immediately find another one.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a higher chance of finding something that's on a lower percentage rate. Like that's less like that one took a lot more damage from your Ember. Stat differences. Stamp. You foot stamp. Just like the compression. Or the tearing its eardrums out. You can just look at a different piece of grass. There's plenty in this route. I'll just cover this later. Oh, a Ghastly.
Let's try and catch Ghost Friend.
Ghost Friend. Ember shouldn't kill it. It's not super effective, but it didn't kill the Starly, so I can't see it. Why did you say the words, James?
It's fine.
It's not fine. The way Curse works is it halves your HP, and then they lose a quarter of their HP each turn for as long as you're alive. So it was going to use Curse to half its HP. I didn't know it was going to do that. But you embered and put it below half, so it lost half its HP. So, yeah.
It committed seppuku.
Yes. Pretty much. It's actually a fairly good tactic, because you...
I beg your pardon? He gave Steve a good rod?
Yeah.
Steve's underage, man.
Do you need me to explain how to use a rod now?
Nope.
Did you hit no?
Yes.
Like, that's the thing, is you say yes, and you go, okay, this is how you use it. And you say no, and he goes, right, okay, just remember, and then tells you how to use it. So you can't get out of it, like... You jog
But I don't jog in a straight line backwards and forwards. I'm sorry, with one 90-degree turn in the middle.
He gets to go over water twice.
Hello, Shining.
They're a double battle.
I spoke to one of them.
They still fight you as a pair.
God damn it. Ah! They really are Shining.
It's fine. More of this bullshit now. That's fine. We got the bag.
Well, you get to set fire to the Mime Junior, and you get to squirt all over the... to Aqua Jet the Bonsai.
What a gun. Mimic. I can use Ember now.
That's not very effective on either of these two. Oh god.
You're fine. You're fine. I mean, Beneazel's gonna kill the Bonsly, so that's something.
Yeah, because it always goes first with Aquajet.
Yeah, unless the Bonsly knew and moved the one first, which is
Splat.
It's super effective. Oh, the XP gain is gonna be so low. 69. 69.
Nice.
69, 69. 169. Burn. Yay! Burn. Now you only get to Aquajet.
I mean, sure. Because it means, sure, I'll go first and whack you in the face.
You're forced to use action. No, what he's actually saying is please put the fire out. For the love of God, put the fucking fire out. It's like... please put the fire out.
Actually, it's not. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but it's actually a really horrible thing. But there's. I was watching a thing the other day about Tibet, and there's got a problem at the moment. A lot of people are self-immolating as a protest against the Chinese government. And it's one of those things like, so, and what's the Chinese government, what's their police force response to people setting themselves on fire? Their police beat the people who are on fire. To the point where, like, they were talking to this person where his family, obviously he's self-immolated, he's not around anymore. But when he self-immolated, the police beat him and it set fire to their uniforms, and they charged the family for the uniforms. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, it's the same as when, if someone in Japan, is it Japan, commits suicide via train, the family is billed for the cleanup?
I didn't know that.
I'm fairly certain it's either Japan or China, as if someone commits suicide via train, their family is billed for cleanup and for any delays in the train.
No, you're not.
It's a child and a Pokemon. It's a onesie.
Okay.
It's a child and a onesie.
I mean, that's cute, but also horrifying.
Wait till you find the parent-child combos. No, it's normally like a dad with a daughter on his shoulders. Like a poker fan dad being like...
What? Like, Pinwheel?
No. It's like a dad walking with his child, like sat on his shoulders and being like, having fun with his child. Pretending they're tall. I don't know.
Jesus, like...
Double team.
No, it was, it's just like a epilepsy warning. Oops, no, wrong thing.
There have been a few episodes of Pokemon that have not aired in this country due to epilepsy warnings. There was a very infamous episode it was released in Japan, not in here. It was the episode that first introduced Porygon, and it caused hundreds of epileptic seizures. Hundreds. So
I can't even see its health, but oh, it's dead.
Yeah, it was just like, it was horrendous, like the amount of like emotional and whatever trauma damage it did. So it was just like, we're not having that episode anymore then. And then like there was a couple other episodes that didn't make it over to the like European releases and US releases for various reasons.
I wish I had a way of putting their names underneath them. Should work on that.
Could you not add text files?
I could. It'd be just getting them all to one up. I'd have to sit there and line them all up, and then so then next time you can just type them in.
Yeah.
And get the boxes lined up.
That's a stupid item.
But it's got an X in it. X means good. You want to fight me?
No, they're joggers. They only fight in the mornings. And the night guards fight you at night. Head off the desk, James. There are certain events in Final Fantasy that you can only do during the day and during the night.
Why do you always compare it to Final Fantasy?
I don't know.
Another JRPG.
Yeah, exactly. You know what JRPGs are like. Not even that, it's just it's any like game that there's loads of games that do it. It's just like this only happens.
It's a mechanic that I consider to be a near deal breaker in any game.
Yeah, it's time based. To be fair though, it's not like it's saying you can't go through this door unless you're playing during the morning. It's literally just there's probably like 20 joggers in the game, if that are like only fight you in the morning, and there's like 10 night guards that only fight you at night, and that's it. So it's not super relevant. Hello, Mime Junior. Creepy Mr. Webby motherfucker. Now you've said it, I can't unsee it.
It's a clown that's got its head stuck in a whipping machine.
They've remade the movie It. I don't know if you knew the movie. Have you heard the movie It?
Oh, I know the story. I've known the story for years. I've never read it because it doesn't appeal to me.
Well, they made a film like obviously years and years ago about it, but they've just remade it. It just released like the other day.
Yeah, I saw a trailer the other day. When I was there.
Yeah, it's not a happy movie.
Well, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's just kind of like apparently it's actually it's a very well made horror movie, but still like. I like my horror movies sans gore. I don't like gore in horror movies.
I'm just not a fan of horror movies in general. Because my movie, there's people like, oh, because it's like no, because basically, for me, there's two outcomes of a horror movie. It's either not doing its job and it's not scary, or it does its job and it is scary, and I don't like being scared, so I don't want to watch it.
See, the horror movies I prefer are the kind of more like get inside your head creepy thriller ones, rather than the straight up every 5 minutes you get a jump scare. Like those ones, I'll pass. Saw, I'll pass. But when it's things like, it's one that by the end of it you're like, huh, like almost like psychological thriller horror type thing. You're kind of like, did that happen? Or like you like just stuff when it makes you think more about what it is. It's kind of just like,
well, it's not a horror movie. Like one of my favourite horror things in the last few years is there's an episode of Doctor Who called Blink.
Oh yes, yeah. With
the before they came back, the first time we saw the Weeping Angels was fantastic. We didn't have the Doctor in it. It was part of these people. It's like, and there's one of my favourite moments was like keep an eye on them. Like so he's watching them in the garden, being like, okay, so we know these are dangerous now. And he says like, and then she's talking to like the thing of the notes. He goes, and this is where the notes stop. And she's like, are you still looking at the angel? He's like, no. It's like fuck.
No, the Weeping Angels. Well, there's another really good, like going back to Doctor Who again. There's another one where there's these weird like faceless, or not faceless alien things. They're called something, the Silence, I think. And basically, as soon as you look away from them, you forget you ever saw them.
Playing Snap in chat saying Blink is effing amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every time you take your eyes off them, you forget you ever saw them.
Yeah.
So what the characters started doing was like marking their wrist with a marker, and then like the character sees them, looks down, and like both arms are just covered in hundreds of marks, and they're like, and then they look away again, and they're like, why are my arms covered in marks? And it's like it's kind of that kind of creepiness to me. I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, it has the montage. Yeah, Blink has a montage at the end showing lots of statues in everyday life to kind of like bring that sort of like, do you ever trust a statue again kind of thing.
Yeah, where it's just like, here's fountain, here's this.
One of the wonderful things about Blink early on, because obviously at the start you don't know what's going on. But like, I mean, the question at the start is, why is one of them holding the TARDIS key? That's weird. But then there's a thing where she like goes to the bank. This is a conspicuous hole in the ground.
I mean, you could use the item finder, and that's fine. Probably nothing.
But like, she goes to the bank and like she looks out the window and there's a couple of the Weeping Angels. She's like, okay, and looks out the window again like 2 minutes later and they're gone. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but it seems to have worked. Hallowed Tower.
Yeah, you put the keystone in, go underground, talk to some people, come back up, talk to there, and a Pokemon will spawn.
Fair enough. How are you supposed to know that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That unwilling potential turns the entire human race into
Yeah, so Doctor Who's just, but like the other really neat horror thing from recent years is from a YouTube series called Marble Hornets, And in general, that has some issues. It has some real issues. But one of the really neat things they did was the idea is
that's Bidoo's involvement.
But have we found anything in the zone yet?
Yeah, because you got the Ghastly, but that's Bibario's. That's Bibario.
And electric type, I guess. He's
a water normal, yeah. Also, Pony's asleep. Kitty's paralysed.
Oh well. But like one of the neat things they do is the thing they're doing, the operator, which is like the bad guy of that series. The way you know he's there, like present, is interference with electronics, and like people who are exposed to him over a long amount of time become ill. So like as the series goes on, more and more of the characters start like having constant coughs, like taking painkillers and stuff, and like finding empty things of painkillers they don't remember taking, that kind of stuff. But one of the things is because if it interferes with electronics, they're paranoid and they forget things, so they start filming everything. So like they'll be like walking through an abandoned building looking for evidence, and like because you're watching the footage from like their body cams, it's meant to be real. You'll like watch it like start to flicker to one side and then be normal again, and then you'll be like, well, fuck, he's there, but they don't know because they're not watching the footage. Which was a really neat sort of tension builder, because obviously like it gives the viewer the information that the people in it don't view. So like, you know, it's the classic horror movie of like, don't go into the basement kind of.
Yeah. That's what I've found as well, that horror has kind of changed over the years, is that it used to very much be like in the times of like Alien.
The horror of that thing's eyes.
Oh, I think you used the Bibario.
Yeah.
Because like horror used to be like in the days of Alien, for example. Alien was like, you can make that with the bike. You have to go like straight down, right, and up to like L the bike in like.
The bike out. That's weird. There we go. No.
But you need to go in like super speed mode. Like you have to go like. Are you in speed mode?
I mean, I'm holding down B.
It's gonna be a pain.
It looks like it's on PCP or something.
Yeah, like back in the days of Alien, for example, it was very much like the thing that scared people the most was the most inhuman thing, like the most like scary monster creature. But I think it's slowly become more of a like, the more real it could potentially be, the scarier it seems to be. I disagree
with you with Alien. I don't think that's what the thing with Alien is. Because it's about the unknown. Horror is always about the unknown.
Yeah.
If you just dissect anything as horror, it's about disempowerment and what you don't know. And the thing with Alien, what made Alien scary was, it was basically, well, by the end it was just Ridley, but it was the crew against this thing, and everything it did was to its advantage. It was constantly, they had to seek it out. They had to go into the vents. They had to like try, and like when Ripley, she were like, she's basically like sacrificing herself at the end. Like, no, that's Alien 2. But like it.
No, I'm just saying, like, horror nowadays is a lot more about like
gore. These days, it's just gore.
There's a lot of gore, but there's also a lot of like. It almost seems to be like the closer to reality it could be is actually scarier to people nowadays, rather than the furthest from reality.
That's always been the case, though. I think
but watching Alien, yes, you're right about the whole like, but it's a sci-fi setting. It's something that is never actually gonna that's not gonna happen in the real world. Whereas in a horror movie where it's like in It, for example, it's like a demon clown, but you could like
there's also the horror of doing something to a person that they are never coming back from.
But it's like nowadays you get horror like It, for example, is that clown. Like, you then see a clown, and you're like, well, actually, that could like it becomes a bit more real because it almost it's closer to the realms of possibility than certain other things like Alien, for example, where you're like, okay, that was really scary, but I know I'm never going to be stuck on a ship with those things. Like,
I think yes and no, because it's like,
I mean, that's my view on
something
horror.
Like Alien is, I think, is harping on something like The Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft, the like 1910 novel, 1940 novel. It's somewhere
in that like last.
I think it's about
80 years.
No, I think it was about 1940 that the At the Mountains of Madness came out. But like in that, it's an expedition. But the whole point of it being an expedition isn't that it's nothing will happen to you. It's that you are isolated. I mean, yeah, the game was called Alien Isolation. You will never be able to like you have no option. There is no fuck. Let's run away.
Mm.
I mean, you get to the end of The Mountain of Madness or the end of Alien. That's exactly what the main character does. But that's the whole point of that situation is that it is inescapable. You have to deal with the horror. Have a good roll 22.
Yeah.
Keep that one.
Oh dear God, they have 5-bit oofs. It's fine.
31. Thank you, playing us that. So, At the Mountains of Madness was 1931. I mean, it's actually a really good book.
Yeah.
And well, novella, it's not very long. It's dated horribly because, you know, those kind of stories do. I mean, you read them now and you're like, tentacle monster? That's very cliche. Well, it's cliche because people like H.P. Lovecraft wrote those in the 30s. Like, yeah, a lot of modern horror films, I mean...
But, like, to me, the scarier thing is something that's more likely or more conceivable to happen. Like, if you watched, for example... what's the one? The icy creature.
The Thing?
The Thing, that's the one. Again, that's another one to me that, like, sure, I like that. I actually quite like The Thing a lot as a film.
Are you aware of the problem with The Thing in cinemas?
Yes.
So, okay.
Or rather, in the subtitles tell you exactly...
No.
The subtitles tell you the premise, don't they? The beginning people...
Not exactly. So the two people at the start are speaking in...
Swedish?
Norwegian, I think.
Yeah, Norwegian.
Which is fine, and it wasn't subtitled when the film came out. But what they do is they explain the whole story of what's going on. The problem was, when they released it in Norway, they didn't change the language they were speaking. So at the start of the film, was these two people speaking in Norwegian, explaining exactly what was going on happening in the film.
But like, again, that film's one I can watch and be like, that was scary, that's fine. But I can remove myself from that, because to me, like, that's why, like, some horror films, I'm quite happy to watch that kind of horror film, because I can remove myself from it. I know it's not real. Whereas if I go into something that's a bit more like...
I guess it also depends on, like, how you're...
Like, Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity scared... I know it's like, it's a bunch... It scared the crap out of me, Paranormal Activity. Because it's like... It's that whole, like, found footage could happen. If you look online, there's thousands of people that say they've, like, poltergeists and... So you're like... It's actually something that could... Is a little bit more, like, in the back of your head, like, this could happen. This is something that might have happened to someone somewhere.
I mean, like, there's a classic thing in horror of undermining expectation. Like, you logically know there's no ghosts, but what a horror movie does, or a good horror story of that kind does, is it puts in the back of your head, yeah, but are there?
Yeah, that's the... Yeah, it keeps making you, like...
Or okay, it's not a ghost, you know there's such a thing as ghosts, but something's there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing in Paranormal Activity.
One of my favourite horror books is Roadside Picnic, which uses a lot of utterly abnormal things becoming everyday items, combined with a touch of cosmic insignificance horror. So, yeah, that's your classic H.P. Lovecraft horror style of... There is... I mean, the whole horror thing with H.P. Lovecraft, these things are so much more intelligent, so much more powerful than us. We're not even worth considering to them. Like, we are not even on their radar. They just continue without us. And they just...
We are infinitesimal.
Yeah, we are completely inconsequential. They don't destroy us because, like, they need our planet, or it's like, they destroy us because, you know, like, it's a byproduct of what they're doing.
Yeah, they walk around and they... Yeah.
Well, there's a... I can't remember his name. There is a creature in the H.P. Lovecraft mythos who doubles in size every minute. Like, he destroys planets, but not because he wants to, just because, yeah, it's part of what he does. He just goes, blump. Which one of you is weak to fire match on the thing?
They're both about the same. So
Stomp, actually.
It's like, for me, it's the more I can... But like with the whole Paranormal Activity thing, I remember watching it. I watched it once, and then when I watched it the second time, I noticed there's a bit where, like the blanket moves. Then it moves a bit more. Then it's like pulled off the bed slightly, pulled off the bed, and then like the woman like half wakes up, and then like the door slams, and they both wake up, and it's like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? Open the door. But then when you look at it again, there's actually like a shadow, a very faint shadow being cast on the open door, whilst all that stuff's happening. But I didn't notice that because when I originally watched the movie, what are you watching? The sheets. So you're sitting there going, oh my god, that's moving. The second time I watched it, I was actually started looking around the room and being like, there's a shadow on that door. Like, oh fuck. That's scarier now. There's actually a thing there. Rather than just being the wind, it's actually this very faint outline of a person that you see move and the door slam. And it's kind of like, oh boy.
No, I can't remember which way around this is, but I know there's a film called The Haunting, there's a film called The Hollywood Haunting. And whichever one was the one that was made first is a film that my mother once described to me when I was younger to talk about various things. She described it as the scariest film she'd ever seen. Because the thing with that was, you never saw a monster. You never saw anything do anything, but like the people in it, like the house they were in, were just like, things would move by themselves, doors would stay, like they'd be locked in a room for no reason. And like, I mean, it had the classic trope of like the walls bleeding kind of stuff. That kind of, that's where the trope really comes from, I think, was from the first one of these films. Oops. What's it trying to learn? Fire spin.
So it's...
Growl can go.
Yeah. So fire spin does like a small amount of damage and then a repeated small amount of damage every turn.
Yeah.
So it's like a weaker version of Ember, but it hits them every turn. So you use that first and then... But yeah, like you said, I actually quite like horror movies where you don't ever see what's coming. That to me is.
I think it's a Hitchcock quote where he says like the scare, like 90% of the fear disappears when you show the monster.
Although alternatively, depending on the movie, that sometimes helps.
I was expecting that was a monument. I don't know if it was actually it.
This is a new area. This is the Lost Tower. This is where the Pokemon are buried.
So I assume ghost types?
Yeah, you'll find. This will be a new area, so you can find. I think you get Ghastlies in here, which you'll have already got one of, and potentially.
Well, we didn't catch it, but.
Oh, there you go. Get Chance at Mischievous, which you were attempting to get earlier, but it didn't come out of the forest in time.
So I guess I stomp it. No, stomp won't do anything.
Stomp won't do anything. Ember will do the same thing it did to Ghastly and hurt it a bit.
But hopefully this time it won't have that curse.
I don't think it has curse, no. Also, your Ember did like nothing. Why do you have to do it, Mischievous? Why you gotta be? I mean, you could send out Bronzor and put it to sleep once it's weakened a bit more.
Come on, RNG.
Yes, RNGesus. That's the same way as I can't watch many comedy films nowadays because a lot of it is just like
slapstick.
It's not even slapstick, it's over-the-top cringy comedy.
Oh, frustration humour. Yeah, like all of like the Adam Sandler films where it's just like, if you just said something, everything would be fine.
Well, it's, like, another example I'd give is like The In-Betweeners.
Yeah, I never got into that.
No, neither did I, but it's that kind of thing of like, it's four lads going on a drinking holiday and just pissing about, and it's kind of like, I don't find that funny, I find it cringe. I can't watch it, it physically makes me feel cringy and I just don't want to watch it. I don't mind some of the Adam Sandler films, but it's just like... Whereas films like I don't get how people watch like Norbert. I think it's like who's the guy that voices Donkey in Shrek?
Eddie Murphy?
Yes, it's Eddie Murphy playing like a husband and Eddie Murphy in a fat suit playing the wife.
Oh, he's done that for years.
Yes, but it's that kind of movie that I just don't find that funny at all. Like, I just don't find it funny. But yeah, it's the same thing. Just comedy, just itself is. And then action movies are just action movies.
I mean, the horror has like such a wide range. Because people tend to think about horror movies, and they tend to think about like Saw and things like.
They're more body horror to me. Like, I don't like watching gore. I hate gore. It just makes me feel uncomfortable and sick.
I remember seeing talking at school with a friend of mine who was actually in sixth form when the 300 came out.
Yeah.
Obviously not a horror movie, but
the action whatever one. The 300. Yeah.
But I remember the 300 Spartans one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember talking to him about it because he saw the trailer and he was like, "Oh, it looks amazing! It looks so gory." I was like, "Okay, but like, what makes it look amazing?" Well, it looks like it'd be really gory. It's like, okay, that doesn't make it a good film. It's like, it really does. It's like,
There's a difference between really well executed fight scenes. Yeah, there's a difference between really good executed fight scenes and gore.
Okay.
What?
I thought my hand went outside of the little box we're meant to be in. But we're okay.
Sort of reaching into the Pokemon game. See, it gets nourishment from fear.
It absorbs into its red orbs in daytime, it sleeps in darkness.
The Screech Pokemon. It turns into like a witch wearing a cloak by the looks of it. It looks kind of witchy when it evolves.
And it only has one name it can have.
Okay. Oh, Morgana.
Morrigan.
Oh, Morrigan. Fair enough. I thought you were going with Morgana then. You can just go fish it out of the PC in exchange for
Something.
There's obviously trainers in here and items.
I want to sneak up on you. I can. Haha.
You actually can't. You can come at him from the other angle, but you can't physically talk to him before he fights you.
Damn it. Oh, jeez. Stunky. It's a skunk.
You fought the skunk tank, didn't you? The big one with the tail that goes right over the top of his
Yeah.
head. Yeah, it's like the first form of it. So you go back to 300, and it's like I love movies. Like I love like fight scenes and action scenes like a lot, but I like well executed. Like I watched the there's a TV show that was basically like the Spartan story, like Spartacus and whatever else, and I love that because it was just every episode had like these amazing fight scenes, and yeah, they were gory, but they were like decent fight scenes as well. But in the 300, there's a great side view, and you get like the guy goes. And, like he runs in, like stabs one guy, flips over another, and you can see people in the background fighting. But it's like a side on as the camera follows on a track. And then I remember watching you know, a while back they did loads and loads of like mock films, like Meet the Spartans. They did loads of like mock film, like they did loads of B-movie style, over the top versions of popular films. And although I hated Meet the Spartans, it was a shite film. But their recreation,
like a water type.
Yeah, water ground. But their recreation of the side scroll, I found hilarious because like it was one of the things like he ran past two people and like pulled like a double wedgie over their heads, and then like rather than spearing a guy, he like rolls over, grabs like a wet towel out of a bucket, and like whips a guy in the stomach with it, and it's just like that I did find quite funny because it was just like the exact same scene, but rather than that, he was just kind of just like. Or he, like grabbed a guy and just like nipple cripple, and it's just like things. It was like, okay, that's that. I found that funny, but this like that Spartans film, like it gets so not misquoted. It gets so quoted, or it did for a long time with the whole like we'll rain arrow, or like block out the sun with our arrows, and it's like that's fine. We'll just fight in the shade, and it's just kind of like. They're pretty cool lines, but then I remember at school, like everyone just being like, "Oh, they're quoting these film lines." I'm just like,
I love. To say I love. I haven't watched it in a long time. I really got into Bill Hicks for a while, and if you want something that's ridiculously overquoted, Bill Hicks comedy routines. There are some quotes you hear all the time that you will not know that they are from Bill Hicks comedy routines. So you're just like, "We get it. You've seen Bill Hicks." Though my favourite on like the misquote stuff is the number of times you hear this quote, which is the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Attributed to Kaiser Sose. Kaiser Sose is a fictional character in the film The Usual Suspects. People are everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, Kaiser Sose, amazing. It's like he's a made-up character who was made up by a made-up character in a film.
I love when you see those quotes that like people have like not people nowadays, but people took out of context. Where like it'll be the quote, but it's actually followed by like another line of text that makes it like it puts it in a completely different light.
Yep.
But people take that first quote and they're just like, oh, that sounds cool, so we'll just use that half of it. It's like, but it's not how it
I mean,
works.
the thing is, the internet's rife with it these days. I mean, I hate to break it to people, but Marilyn Monroe never said, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. It's not actually her that said that. It's a good quote. It wasn't Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I mean, they covered it in one episode of the John Oliver show because he had he had a picture of the quote. It's like, this is a great quote. Like a picture of him that's been going around on Twitter. It's a picture of him from one of it, like doing stand up, and this like quote next to him about wars or something. He's like, isn't that an amazing quote? It's like, yeah, I never said it. It's like, wish I did. Sounds good. Didn't say it. But it's really easy these days to just put on an image and then
put a speech bubble next to it.
Yeah.
And then...
Uh-oh. Shit, what do I do now?
You can hit it.
But he's bided 2 turns.
Yeah, but you missed, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you hit it, it used bide, so it's fine. It hasn't stored any energy currently, and then you're going to kill it now. You'll be fine. You have Kitty's understudy.
But I can't lose Kitty.
You have understudy. It'd be a great way to end the stream. Kitty dies and well, never come back!
It's like, no, Pokemon does something, it's over.
Pokemon's dead to me now. Youngster Oliver.
Oh, Kitty hit level 26.
Yay, 26.
We'll get her to 30 by the next gym.
Well, the next gym's top Pokemon is level 30, so you're going to want a couple of them. I mean, you can keep going up, there's like another trainer or two.
I'm basically out of PP because one of the things I fought sapped it all.
Ah, fair enough. If you go up, you're just right next to the next town. It's not got a gym in it, but it's the next town. If you just go...
Yeah, one of the things we fought, like, the...
Mischievous, use Spite.
Yeah, the what's it called I had? The Ponyta has, like,
1 PP, yeah.
1 PP for Ember and, like, 2 for Stomp.
Yeah.
And Kitty keeps getting paralysed.
You have a berry for that.
I wish they wouldn't stand and landing and have conversations during streams. Yeah, particularly as they both have such deep voices that carry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we should probably do this. That then loaded like. It's down there by that cut thing. That's an item. Splatoof cat.
Splatoof cat. It'll be X something. Oh, DM
Steel Wing.
It is basically the flying type equivalent. It's a steel move that can basically only be learnt by flying type Pokemon. And obviously flying types are weak to rock, and steel is super effective against rock, so it's kind of like an answer to...
Question nobody asked.
If your flying Pokemon got stuck out against a rock type, it can at least use a move that's going to do some damage, rather than all its other moves which won't do anything.
Having all these Pokemon buried on floors, all my thought is that you'd be certain one would be like...
I think what I would assume they are is like pots with ashes in. That's how I assume that being.
Probably because in Japan that's the primary method of...
Yeah.
Because they are rather limited on space.
And then if they pay for it, there's those bigger squares there that are like... Well, they're very oddly organised, but that's not... We're going to talk about that. It's like... Organised so that you have to follow a path to fight a trainer.
No, we know. Does the walker choose a path or the path the walker? They sit there in the corners to make sure they can see everyone.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound?
Actually, that was a reference to a series of books, the Sabriel series of books.
Yes, it makes a noise.
Have you read Sabriel?
No.
You should. It's a very good book. With its sequels as well. How did it go? Sabriel, Lyriel.
Yeah, I have read them.
Have you?
Is it the Bells one?
Yeah.
Yeah. A long time ago, like...
They're good books. There's a new one came out last year.
Like 7, 8 years ago now I read them. I've got them, I think they're in the attic at home. I have read them though. When you said the first one I was like, no, wait, what's the next name?
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
Sabriel.
I have.
I'm trying to remember
I think I've read 3 or
Sabriel,
2 or 3.
Lyriel, is it Abhorsen the next one?
Yeah, Abhorsen.
Clariel, and then Golden Hand is the new one.
That sounds a bit off name from all the others?
The end of Abhorsen, Lyriel loses her hand and becomes known as Golden Hand because she gets a hand made for her, which is gold in colour.
Yeah, I remember some of the premise of those books being like they went through the different rings of hell to like, and they rung certain bells to get them through. The bells let you go through like. Let you banish demons from certain, or damage devils or something.
Yeah.
Or banish them.
Not quite, but
you had to use a certain bell to do it or something.
No, so it follows the Abhorsen, whose job is to stop the dead rising, because it's like you have different levels of death until something can't come back. And the bells represent each level, but you don't have to use them to get to a certain thing.
I don't know if you use them to get rid of.
No. Not really. Like they have like the first one is like Saraneth the Binder, where you ring that to stop something from being able to do things. And then you have like they have their actual names, which are like Saraneth and like Astariel. But then they also have like the names that they're actually known by, which is like the Walker, which is the one that controls them, and like the Speaker, which gives them back the dead back their voice. It's a really cool concept. It's a really cool book series. But the reason I bring it up is because that's where does the Walker choose the path, or the path the Walker comes from.
Hello, Ghastly. Burn in hell.
I might actually just buy a shock mount for the microphone, because I can shove that through a shock mount. Be awkward, but it'll work. Hold it with daft gaffer tape.
Yeah, why not? Flexi stretch. Yes, like literally this morning when you came in when I was having my lunch, and I was like, you were like, oh, are you watching another one where it's just like this, and this? I'm halfway through a series that has just I've reached like the new episode point on Crunchyroll, and it's literally. Man gets reborn into a world with magic and mechas.
Every single anime that's the last like year and a half.
To be fair though, it literally.
I think it's crashed. Oh no, it hasn't. My controller died.
For a second, I was like, Cleon's. I can regain control with the mouse. Is that a battery?
Yep.
Do you have spare batteries?
Yes, they are in my streaming drawer.
Fair enough. Actually does quite a good job of not really focusing on the whole past life thing, because it literally like within the first 5 minutes you have this character that's like an expert programmer, so he's like a genius at programming, and he's like, and he works, and in his spare time what his hobby is to buy mecha toys from his favourite animes and build them. That's what he does, and he explains all that in the first 5 minutes. He then gets hit by a truck and dies.
I mean, that's actually the start of like several of them as well. It's always they get hit by a truck, usually like, saving someone.
So within the first, no, he's literally walking across a pedestrian crossing and gets hit, or like in fact the traffic lights go green, he walks across and turns, gets hit, wakes up in like a young child's body in this new world, and the first thing he sees is like a giant mech comes down. And it's like his dad is driving, like his dad in that world is driving, and he's kind of like he has full awareness of what he was in the other world, and he's just like completely gives up the other world, doesn't even mention it once. He's just like, I'm done, I love robots, I love mechas, I'm in heaven now. And that just plays that character, and it's like it never even happened. It's like he was never in the real world. But they've had, like, in the anime, they have this same mecha, everyone has the exact same mecha, it's the design that's been around for, like, hundreds of years, and everyone's like, it's perfect, doesn't need improving. He's like,
I can make that better.
Well, he can, because he's built thousands of models, so he's literally like, what if we put small arms on the back that could hold the magic rods? What do you mean? It's like, what if we just mount arms here to use the rods, we can use a sword and shield and use the rods to fire into it, and they're like, how did you figure that? And he's like, he basically becomes like a genius, and because the magic in that world works like programming, you in your head go, I want to use this spell, this spell, this, or this line, this word, this, and it makes the spell. He's like amazing at just being like in his head and spitting it. But not once has he mentioned, like, well, back in my world, he's literally just been like, I like robots, this is a robot world, I'm not going to question it. It just fucking just goes for it. And it's just, I just quite like that, the fact that he's not just...
It's a really common trope there. Like, I was reading a manga of one not that long ago where it was like the guy comes into the world and he's reborn as like a 4-year-old. And like he goes through his own, like his whole childhood, he gets raised again. But like, and he coincidentally gets picked up by like the most powerful, basically the most powerful mage in the kingdom. Walks past is going somewhere, and he goes past where this the whole family were killed in like this like cart raid, but the bandits raided the cart, and like he died in a car crash, so he became the kid in this world. So he's like, I will raise you as my own. And then like everyone else encounters me, he's like, oh, you raised this, like, the most powerful mage, he's be really powerful. And he's like 20 times more powerful than Merlin. Well, this mage goes, because basically he goes in and he's like, so this is how you do a fire spell. And he goes, okay, right, so hang on. Thinking about physics, if you compress the air, then
yeah, I do love when they like apply modern to the like. It's like, what was another one I was watching and they did that and they kept inventing.
One of my favourite things of this is he's like, we want you to show us how powerful you are without holding back. It's like, I guess. What do you want me to do? It's like, well, we'll take you to a special place. It's like, how much do you own? How much can I destroy? It's like, well, yeah, anything you could realistically destroy, you can destroy. It's like, fine. Bang! It just levels a forest, like up to a mountain, like 20 miles away, and they're just like.
It sounds interesting. What is this one called?
I can find out for you, but it's just it's not an anime, it's a manga.
Oh, it's a manga. Okay.
But like their thing in that world is like they're having issues with humans. If they use magic, they turn into a demon. Like if they overuse magic, and it's like they're like, no one can kill a demon. He's just like,
kill demon.
It's like people he gets to like the school. He gets sent to the magic school to learn common sense, not to learn magic. He's like better than anyone there. Like you need to go like to learn how to interact with people because you've been brought up just by Merlin for 20 years, and he's an idiot apparently who didn't teach you self-control.
No, I do love the ones where it's just like they apply modern knowledge to it, and it's kind of like one I watched was called Gate, and basically like a Shinto gate type thing opens up like in Japan, in Tokyo, in this town center, and out comes like a regiment of basically like, medieval cavalry and like drakes and things like that. And at first it's like, holy shit, they're all attacking, like tens of people die, 100 people. No, that's alright. Down the wrong hole?
I don't know.
But then obviously like the army kicks in and the defense force kicks in and they have guns and they mow them all down.
Okay.
And then they go, okay, what's through this gate? So the Japanese like obviously close it all off, then go through the gate and find on the other side is like this fantasy world. And the first thing the medieval people in there are like, right, we'll raise an army of like 100,000 men and we'll like drive these invaders out, and it's just like, okay, we have like 400 people with machine gun and like Brownings. It's like, okay, chucks them all down. Like there's a Drake, and it's like, okay, tanks.
When you say 400 people with machine guns versus thousands of soldiers, all I can think is Rorke's Drift. Where, provably, by the British Army, that doesn't always work.
No. But these are people that obviously like assume these men like spitting magical fire at like 1,000,000 miles an hour because they're medieval like type thing. But you find out later in the story that what actually happens is every few generations, few thousand years later, this gate opens to a random place and time somewhere else, and people come in, then the gate disappears, and those people integrate, which is why there's different races. There's like humans and elves and dwarves and things like that, and there's magic and drakes and creatures. And basically over the decades and over the centuries, this gate just keeps appearing in random places, and people migrate through and migrate back, and then the gate disappears and reopens again. And that's the idea of then, like, the series basically ends with them finding out and being like, wait, hold on, what if the gate disappears? Like, because at the moment they've got like... But yeah, it's just funny with the modern technology, because they're like, someone's like, we need to send a message somewhere, it's going to take a man on a horse like a week, and it's like, we can get it over in a chopper in like half a day, and they're like, get there in half a day, and it's like, yes.
Like an hour and a half.
Yes. Or they're like, at one point they're like, we need to send a message by horse, and it's okay, we'll meet them there like, with our jeep. You are both like,
we're both great and fucked.
Yeah, I just switched both of yours out for Kitty and like Weasel's fine where he is. Weasel's crappy and good. It's just Ponyta I'd get rid of, and Weasel I'd just hit their Ponyta. But yeah, so it becomes where they're just like, we have magic, and it's like, we have a tank. It's like, oh my god, what magic drives it? Petrol. It's like, and what's this big metal thing? It's called a slug. It's like, or like when they're demonstrating to them to mortars, they're like, what's a mortar? It's like, see that hill over there? Boom, boosh, and it's like, and all these nobles are like, I want 30. How much money do you want? How many horses and cows? And they're like, we're not interested in your crap. We're just proving to you that we can kick the shit out. But the thing is, the Japanese aren't like, they don't want to completely conquer this world. Because they immediately do like scans and like soil samples and find there's like shit tons of natural resources that the world is running out of, and they're like, well, okay, we can monopolize this, but we don't want to be seen by the rest of the real world to be like basically like, yeah, we went in and murdered everyone, but everyone keeps attacking them because like, oh, foreign invaders. They're like, they basically have to keep showing power and being like, this is a mortar, it blows up castles, fuck off. He just let us dig, let us bring like And at one point they go to a noble and it's like, we found that there's like massive gold deposits, and he's like, and it's like, do you use gold for anything? He's like, not really. And they're like, great, we want it all. And he's like, okay, what will you pay me? And they're like, okay, here's like some stuff from our world and things like that. And he's just like, this is more than I ever imagined. He's like, gold is useless to me. And like, that's great. Gold. It's just like, it's certain minerals. It's just like,
I really like. Did you ever read the book Rivers of London?
No.
Which is like a. I mean, they got described as like Harry Potter grew up, where basically it's a police officer in London discovers that like there is a magical police department that deal with like fairies and werewolves and vampires and shit. But he gets trained in Newtonian magic. Jesus Christ! he gets trained in magic by someone who he can't work out if Nightingale is his name or his rank, because some people call him Nightingale and some people call him the Nightingale.
Or is he just like, is Nightingale a thing that he is?
He can't work. He's not quite sure on that. But like, one of the things that he's having a conversation with Nightingale, because Nightingale teaches him to throw a fireball. Which is like, you throw it this far, then you decompress it, and it blows up the dummy at the other end. It's like, cool. It's like, what's the biggest thing you've ever destroyed with them? He's like, tiger. He's like, Jesus Christ, that's pretty powerful. Tigers are pretty durable. He's like, when was that? It's like, 1942. There's a load of them coming over with the German soldiers. Like, oh, a tank!
Yeah. It's like... Oh, that was the great bit in Gators where it's like, there's a dragon, and it's like, dragons terrorize us, they're horrible, and it's like, okay. Yeah. Well, it has really tough scale. It does take a little while to bring it down, but at one point it's just like, it's attacking them and like, okay, and they just blow like an arm off with an RPG set. Like, just RPG hits it, blows up an arm, and it like flies away, and they're kind of like, and everyone's like, we literally run, hide, and hope there's some people in our village left when they're done, and you blew its arm off and drove it away. It's like, what? Yes.
A Murkrow?
Yeah, it's like, it's a dark flying type.
I guess I can just crush that with these two.
Yeah, this is a fine fight. This is a fight where neither of you are good or bad against the other. So
that was a waste.
You can hit B. You can go back.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
As long as the second person hasn't selected the move, you can go back. Pursuit will actually be super effective against Mischievous. The one that Buineasel knows Pursuit, that will be super effective against Mischievous. But it's just that kind of thing. It's just like all these people being like, oh, it's like, you're way too fucking powerful. It's like, yep. And physics knowledge is an interesting one as well. Like you said about the whole, like, well, if I just compress the... It's like when they just like apply just basic maths, physics, or science as well.
Next stream, I'm applying anime discussion to as the tag as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's right.
One that you never actually finished that you like really should is that RE0 Dawn.
Yeah, RE0.
Or RE0. RE0. Why did I say?
Because you've probably got the Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, Horizon RE0. Yeah. That was very good.
That's brilliant, Murkrow.
What was that?
Just you.
That would be not very effective. Dark is not very effective against itself. Water is normal. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like there are a lot of animes where they just randomly insert themselves into a new world.
There's a really neat manga I read a while ago that was, I can't remember what it was called, where it played with that trope. Like the class, like their whole class gets blown up and all of them get respawned, like sent to this fantasy world, and it follows like the unpopular girl in the corner. It's like, oh, what's going to happen to her? And like, she wakes up in a fantasy world. She's a spider. Like, she's a monster spider. And like, she's like, oh god, what's going on? Okay, there's a thing over like there's a giant spider. That must be the mother spider. It comes, it's just eating some of the young. She's just, Jesus Christ! And like, she keeps getting like in-game achievement things. Like at one point, she's got nothing to eat. She's so hungry. She's like revolted by the concept and makes her sick. But she's like eating one of the other spiders she found. It's like, you have earned achievement. It's like cannibal. It's like, Jesus.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones I've watched now that are just like, again, like, I suppose I've been doing that for a while because Bleach is the same thing.
Kinda.
Well, because he discovers the spirit world, doesn't he? And then he can travel to the spirit world.
It's not a new idea.
No, it's
like,
been around. Yeah, it's
I mean,
been.
if you want to like go to even to the modern ones, like Dog Days came out like 5 or 6 years ago, and that was like kid who's good at athletics gets summoned to a world of dog and cat people to take part in their athletic wars. No, really, instead of a war, they have athletics tournaments. So they summoned
better than murdering people, I suppose.
So they summoned him interdimensionally.
Oh, that was another one I loved. Was
Do I fight the pair of grannies?
No, one of them gives you a HM, which you can't. You could use, but you can't. Basically, cleanse tag works kind of like a permanent repel. If you have it on your front, if you have it on your front Pokemon, it makes it very, very unlikely that you'll find wild Pokemon under your level. And one of them, I think, gives you strength, which is a HM that you can't use yet because you just beat a certain gym for it. But it's basically move the big, solid rocks around rather than break the little ones. No game, no life. It's basically you get two. There's a brother-sister combo who they make their money in the real world by essentially just like testing video games, beating video games. They basically live indoors.
I saw a trailer for this.
Yeah, they basically live indoors their entire lives. And in the first episode, they get a message online being like, "Would you like to play? Like I challenge you to chess." It's like, okay, fine. And they think it's just a program, and they finally beat it after like 12 hours of playing, and the program's like, "That's great. How would you like to join a world where like it's only games? Like, do you feel left out in this world?" And they're like, "Yes." And suddenly they basically get dragged into this world where everything is done based on a game. If you want anything, you say like, if I said to you, "I want you to pay for this meal," you go, "Okay, we'll play a game for it, rock paper scissors," or play a game of highs lows, or everything is done by rules of game. And because they literally have played and mastered like every type of game and game theory imaginable, they just rock face because they're just like, because someone tries to cheat them out of something because she thinks they're noobs basically, but they just cheat her out of it better, if you know what I mean. Like, they're just, and it's just the way they do it. It's just really good because it's just like, because these people don't quite realize how. Like, they realize how much thought goes into it, but not quite how much thought a Japanese human male who has nothing to do other than play games, how good they can get at games.
24. Howell can lose it now. He's up to 24.
Yeah, because one of the clever ones is they challenge this like angel type creature to a game, and the game that the angel creatures always play. When you challenge, they get to pick, and the game is basically a word game. And if you say the word, something will appear, and if it's already there and you say it, it disappears. So the idea is you try and get the other person. You basically try and make the other person give up. But the thing is, because they have no knowledge of the modern world or physics or anything like that, he can say something like, for example, the first thing he says is atomic bomb. So that appears, and immediately the angel has to use like this magic shield. Like, she says like a word and it shields them from the explosion. They wouldn't die from it. It's like it's in like a virtual world bit, but it's just like he's doing it to test the fact that he can use stuff from his world. So he's like, okay, now I know that I can do things like remove oxygen, remove air, because she doesn't realise that air is composed of oxygen and nitrogen and things like that. So she's like, there's still air I can breathe. I can't speak. It's like, but he hasn't removed air, he's removed oxygen, which is a word she doesn't even recognise. So it's just like, it's things like that they use just modern, but that was a very good one as well.
That's a bit like Kaiji, which is like all the psychology of
You're very injured.
I'm very injured. So is he.
I would maybe heal in case you hit yourself. And then he hits you.
I will change out.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, Kaiji.
Kaiji is like, it's like a psychological thing. It follows like a guy basically inherits debts, and like these like Yakuza people are like,
oh yeah, you said about this before, and he like gambles and
he's like, yeah, you take part in this game, we'll pay you back, but like the games are horrendously rigged for the entertainment of other people. It's like later on in the series they have a game where like they have to walk like along decreasingly narrow pillars over like a 40-story drop. And you can't put your hands on it because it's electrified to make you just walk. And you like the last person to get there will have to do like won't get any money, has to walk back. So, and because there's only 3 of them, there's like 20 people going. There's like people behind you like nudging you forward, and that kind of thing will last for like 4 or 5 episodes of just like the psychology of what you're trying to do and breaking it
yeah.
down. There's like they play like incredibly simple games of like rock paper scissors type stuff.
Yeah.
But then they go through all of the game theory behind how to win at rock paper scissors.
Yeah. Where it's not actually a 50-50, it's like a more of a like 10-10
at
fight
one
or
point,
whatever.
because it's like that he works out they're like you checking his vitals using something that's attached to his ear. So like he goes to the men's room and cuts his ear off.
Why? I suppose they can't monitor his vitals anymore.
Yeah. He has like his friends sit there in the men's room, like holding his ear between his hands, so the sensors still show like a person's nervous person's holding. Because his friend's obviously like, Jesus Christ, I'm holding an ear. Right, healing up. It is 10:30. We have been live for 2 hours. There's our scheduled time, and that's probably a good time to stop because we are not. We're not about to take on all the gym.
Well, it'll be. We actually only made it halfway there.
Jesus. Okay, well we will save.
There's basically just a crap ton of. There's nothing but a crap ton of trainers basically in between you and the gym now. That's literally what it'll be next. Like
okay.
Next time we come back, it'll be go up, fight loads of trainers, go right, fight loads of trainers, go down a bit, fight loads of trainers. There's a gym. That's just basically what that whole loop is just trainers.
It's a lot of data.
It's getting those 5 Pokemon, potentially a 6th if you want to use it, up to level 30. Will be our next one.
Okay. Well, next week we're probably going to take a break from Pokemon.
And play either a one-shot type game or Bioshock.
Don't know. We might start Bioshock, which we can talk about doing for a while because Dan hasn't played it. And I'm one of those freaks who've not only read Atlas Shrugged, which it's largely based on, but I actually quite liked Atlas Shrugged because I'm weird. Nobody likes Atlas Shrugged. That's a possibility. We've also talked about doing something silly like Dream Daddy just as a one-off, or playing something else entirely that we don't know yet. Maybe I'll pick something up over the week, or maybe something
will pop into one of our heads and we go, oh sweet, that'll be a great game.
I mean, I talked
Pokemon.
I talked previously about getting you to play one of my favourite DS games, which is a possibility. But no, we'll find out. Saturday, 4 PM UTC is the Dark Souls stream. Plan is, I believe we're still going for Dark Souls. I think I talked to him. We had 1 week off because he was busy, but I think we're back on for this Saturday. In fact, I'm 90% certain we're back on for this Saturday. So
yeah, because it'll be the following Saturday is the Magic pre-release, and potentially not Dark Souls, depending on how Tim feels.
Tim reckons we'll probably be on. But anyway,
yeah.
So Saturday 4 PM UTC will be the Dark Souls stream. I hope to see anyone then. Then this time next week, 8:30 PM. UTC on Monday.
Something that's not Pokemon.
Something that's not Pokemon. I mean, it might still be Pokemon. I doubt it though. I need a break.
Yeah, James needs a break, and Bioshock sounds like a good break because it's completely different to this.
Yeah,
Mirror's Edge is another one.
Mirror's Edge is another one we talked about doing. Though I might do that one with Tim.
Yeah, that's fine. I just
we'll see.
another one.
We'll see.
Anyway,
catch you next time.